Hi everyone, Claudette here with my awesome, amazing Sharona from Women Dancing with Change, and you are here today on Conversations That Matter Most. Woohoo! Yes!
Woo! Hi, everybody. Glad to be here today. Let's do a little warm up as we get ready for another episode of Conversation That Matter Most. Woo! I just created a jingle. Yay!
So we today we're going to talk about is social media you know disconnecting us from reality, and so we're going to talk about all kinds of things that are about social media, being connected, being real, being in this world today, and how it relates to us and different aspects of women. So, but before we jump in, I want to just introduce us briefly. Sharona, how about you introduce yourself, and then I'll introduce myself, and then we'll do a little bit of a housekeeping before we start.
Okay, that sounds like a groovy idea. So, my name is Sharona. I am known as the Midlife Women Dancing with Change Specialist. And I work with midlife women who are at that point in their life going, what? Okay. And, or really? And trying to navigate through the many shifts, because shifts happen at this time as they get ready to go forward in their life so they can thrive wholeheartedly in body, mind, and spirit. That's what I'm about. How about you, Claudette?
Well, I'm a stepmom coach. I work with stepmoms who find themselves in the midst of, wondering, what did I do here? Like, what was I thinking? And, like any relationship, sometimes they go really well, but sometimes they don't. And so being a stepmom is a really different role than being a mom, than being a wife, than being a mother, daughter, whatever. So it's a very, very different role. And we don't talk enough about it. We don't talk enough about the challenges of being a stepmom. So it really helps stepmoms understand that, one, they're normal. What they're going through is they're not going crazy in their head, and help them find some of the strategies that will help them move from surviving to thriving one step at a time. So this is who we are, and this is what we do. And just a little bit of history and back housekeeping about what we do. So Sharona and I got together. I think it was around December of 2016, and we started having these conversations, and conversations that really make a difference. Like, we're talking about more deeper levels of conversation. And we enjoyed it so much that we thought we'd share with you some of our thoughts and ideas around these conversations that matter most. That's the title of our episodes. And the purpose of why we started doing this is, one, just to share our thoughts and ideas, and to have you get to know a little bit about ourselves as well. But the other point is to have like a conversation starter. A lot of times people are having conversation and are having a hard time having meaningful, deep conversation without getting upset. And so, if anybody of you have been following the news or politics lately, I think you get our draft, right? A lot of times people are talking and sharing, but we expect everybody to think alike. So, our goal is not for you to think just like us. Our goal is to really have you, open up, have these conversations with people that are important in your life, and maybe other people around you, and get a wider perspective around what goes on. And so we talk about all kinds of topics. We've talked about anger, fear, procrastination, feeling worthy, unworthy. And so we have a wonderful library. We have over 25 different topics, and we invite you to just peruse through our library. check out the topics and see if there's something that resonates with you. And at the same time, we always love to hear about our listeners and people who would like to comment about what we shared. And whether you agree with us or not, we're okay with that. We won't accept being bullied or being nasty, but respectfully disagree is perfectly okay with us. Sharona, anything you wanted to add to what I just shared?
No, I think you covered it well, Claudette, as I know you will and should and do and woo. And yeah, and the other thing too is I we also recommend as you if you know listen to it as a second time through, take out a pen and paper, take some notes because we're taught. By the way, just to remind everyone, this is not scripted.
No. No,
We have some ideas of what we want to cover, but there is no script. This is um, off the cuff, improv. It's real. This is not a fake reality show.
no, it's not.
What you see is what you get. So, and saying that, so going through it a second time, you might want to, even now, you might want to take notes. I always have many pens, paper,
We have
ready,
our own pen.
ready at the ready. Because sometimes when Claudette is speaking, she's going to say something that goes, oh, and I can dovetail into it. And that's what conversation that matters most is about, is the art of not just speaking, but also listening.
Yep, definitely.
So anyway, that's my little add on. It's my little add on. There we go.
Excellent. So today we're going to be talking about social media and social media in the term of, is it making us more connected or disconnected with one another and even with reality? Because what we've been seeing lately, so if you've been on the news or if you've been listening to American television or whatever, there's an election coming in this year. There's a lot of stuff. And our conversation isn't about election. It's about, how people are using social media to express themselves in ways that are not being very respectful, but also in what we see on the internet. Is it real? Is it not real? Like perspective. And one of the things we want to start with, as we were preparing for our episode, Sharona brought on a good point, and I'll let Sharona start off with this, and I'll jump in. But the evolution of how we started to connect with one another. So Sharona, and actually, before you start with the one thing, we'll start and I'll jump in because I wanted to talk a little bit before you're gonna start with a telephone, right?
Right.
Okay, so let me start a little bit before your telephone. So before, when people started to connect via telephone, we wrote letters, right? Before the telephone came through, we would write letters, and that is how we would communicate with long distance relatives. And so when you write down a letter, you take the time to think that process of what is it that I want to say. And so if you take the time to thoughtfully put down the words and share the important things that are going on in your life. I mean, if you're going to write a letter and you write like twice a year or a few times a year, you're not going to talk about the grass, how green your grass is, or stuff like this. You talk about more meaningful things, and you talk about things that the other person might be interested. So after writing letters, then we started to have the telephone. So I want Sharona to say it because she did such a great job doing this. I'm going to let her go on with the telephone.
Okay, thanks, Claudette. Well, of course, this happened at 3 a.m. this morning, where all my ideas come. Um, so so I remember, and I know for many midlife women, they might have had this experience, and maybe some stepmoms too. There was a time when we didn't have voicemail or anything like that. All we had was the telephone. And there were rules that were in place. So people knew not to call at dinner time or early in the morning, like our friends and everybody. So that way, if the phone rang at 12 midnight or 4 o'clock in the morning, we knew something happened.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Also, there was not a do not disturb button on it or ignore button. But however, if we really needed to not answer the phone, and especially at our sacred nap time, we would take the phone off the hook. And then you hear the beep, 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 beep. But that's what we did. Okay, so that's what we had for many, many years. And then one day, a new equipment piece came in called voicemail. And it was first it was tape and then it went digital, but again we had people, if they couldn't get us, they would leave a message. And at some point, some of us, I'm not saying everyone, but some of us were getting really excited at how many phone calls we were. I had 12 voicemails today. Ooh, I'm so popular. Anyway, we started gauging that. So we had voicemail, and then people, of course, started expecting us to answer not right as we heard it, but
No ringing, like 4 or 5 rings, right?
right.
The second ring, people were like, "Wow, they're not there. What are they happening?"
Right, right. So we got into that. So then we got into, okay, so we got voicemail, and then we got into cell phones.
Oh wait, call waiting.
Call, oh yes, call waiting. So then we got call waiting. So then if we're on the phone and we have call waiting, someone could interrupt the call. And then you would say, "Oh, excuse me, I have another call coming in." Because you can see I'm so popular. Anyway, so that of course went. Then we got the cell phone. And that started this whole thing that we were tethered to that cell phone. We
It's
could
like
not
that
write,
all the time.
and not even a smartphone. It's just a cell phone. That way, people can get a hold of us anytime they need it. And,
Actually, it was this great big block, right?
right.
It
So,
weighed a pound.
right. It was. What movie was it? There was a movie that I just saw recently. And he pulled it out, and it was like this. Anyway, so then we got that cell phone got smaller. We got into, we've been being trained that we need to respond immediately when someone calls us. We get annoyed if someone does not answer our text, our blog. So we just get annoyed if we don't hear from some instantaneously. And I think we lost the ability in this day and age to unplug, to
Mm.
say, no, I am not. So, a matter of fact, I do that. I do not answer the phone after a certain point. My cell phone is turned off. On the weekends, I have it, I unplug. And I think what has happened is we become so, again, dependent on our smartphones that we have lost track of how to actually really connect to another person, as my dad would say, eyeball to eyeball. And they've done studies where have shown that a lot of people actually get more depressed after being on Facebook and all the social media outlet, Facebook and Instagram and InstaSnap and Twitter, because everyone is posting all this stuff, and we look into our own lives and going, well, that's not what's going on with me. So I think part of it is moderation, and now they got that um, game called
Oh,
Pac-Man Go.
no, Pokemon Go.
Oh, I'm waiting for Pac-Man Go. Glop 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 glop. Um, I'm not.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go, where people are running into things and not paying attention to what is.
And then
Not
we get to watch them on social media and think it's funny, right?
right. And then, of course, we get all the trolls on social media who are doing nasty things and probably have more courage because they're anonymous. But it's like it's time to say, wait a minute, what happened to humanity
Yeah.
in the social media age?
Yeah, we've transitioned from being polite, respectful social beings. Like I said, when you're writing letters, you're thinking of the person. Your brain is slowing down to the point where you're thinking about what you're going to write to this person. Now, when you're on social media, your thumbs are going so fast that it's like there's no censoring, and you're just responding the first thing that comes to your mind, which is like, okay, I understand we get frustrated and angry and I just want to say this immediately, but what about like taking the time to reread what you just wrote and ask yourself, is this appropriate? Is this like the appropriate way to respond? And and there's the other flip side to this is always posting like beautiful, wonderful, airy fairy stuff. That's not reality either, right? You were
Yeah,
talking about fake reality.
right. No. And I think this has to go back to our addiction to fake reality shows, which they call reality shows, but those things are scripted. They have a whole way of getting all that crap on there. And we have been watching for years how people get away with being bullied and abused verbally and on Twitter and here and twits. Anyway, um and even and I and I think what has happened in this country, at least, I don't know what's happening in other countries, but in the USA, I know that we have become this country of entitlement and bullyism. We think it's perfectly okay to be abusive and hurtful on social media. And I think to myself, how did that happen? And I go, it doesn't matter. All I can do as a person is not do that, right? I don't have to add. Yes, I do get angry. I do get, and there are people who can explain things much better than that I can find. And so that's why a lot of times I just post things on my Facebook page and Twitter and all that. That's a little bit silly, a little bit funny, always with some kind of critter, because critters, make me happy. Um, but I also have learned is moderation. So I give myself, when am I on social media and when am I not? Because I've been on it where I have lost track of time and 2 hours go by and I'm going, what the hell just happened?
Well, have you ever been, Sharona, to like a restaurant and you're eating at a restaurant and you have like family sitting together, and what are they doing? They're like this, right?
Right. No one's having a conversation.
Yeah, and the joke my husband and I say, Bernard and I say, is that they're probably texting to one another about what they're going to eat off the menu. No, and they're looking at the menu, they're taking a picture. Do you want to eat this? There's actually I've heard of articles and interviews where our younger generation are having a hard time integrating with one another because when they're in groups, what was it's a documentary I went to see not too long ago, and actually I have it somewhere on my social media page, and and I don't want to be a hypocrite because I enjoy being on social media and I enjoy sharing a whole bunch of stuff because I see, so for me, so I see social media as a means to exchange information and to slowly build to slowly build the beginning of relationships. They're not the relationship, but the beginnings. And I love what you said, Sharona, about eyeball to eyeball, um, because there's something that is being lost when you're not in face with another human being. In fact, one of the reasons we enjoy doing our Google Hangouts is that we can see each other's face, and we laugh, and we get intense, and sometimes we'll get a little emotional. But we do that because we react to our body language, not just like words we've typed on a piece of paper or on a computer, I should say.
Which is something that Claudette, you just said is body language. There's a thing that most communications, only 7% is the words. Everything else is the tone of the voice, the inclination, the body, the energy behind the words. And when you only got 141 or 144 characters, you can either capitalize or but here's the thing is, we are meant to our eyes are in front of us, so we are meant to focus in front of us. We don't have eyeballs out here or that rotate around. They're right here. And so when you look at somebody, when you look into somebody's eyes as you're talking, you're reaching deeper than the surface. You're going deeper. And it's scary sometimes. It's especially if you have to share something that is uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
But and human beings need to, so again, and I agree with you, Claudette. We don't need to, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I do like my social media. It helps me to reach people I would never reach before. And I do enjoy seeing what others are doing in their lives, and also appreciate the struggles they're having and how they're overcoming them.
Yeah,
I appreciate that too.
yeah, that's key, right? Because we wanted to talk about, are we disconnected from reality? Now, if you only hear stuff that is bad, like we've been hearing a lot these days, you feel like doom and gloom. Oh my God, this is it. Nothing's working. Or if you hear about people that how perfect their lives are, especially in the summertime, everybody's gone on vacation, they're at the beach, they're like, oh, look at me, this is, and you're sitting at home or in an office working, and it's like you haven't been outside for a week now. And it's like, I can't stand this anymore. So can you see how depressing it could be? But you also, you're not in that person's space 24/7. So you only get little glimpse of what their reality is. And if you piece together all those little bits of reality, it doesn't mean that's their true reality, right? We're all ups and downs. We all have ups and downs all the time. And no one has a perfect life. It doesn't exist. We're perfect in our imperfection, right?
Right. And I think one of the things too is we got to remember life has its own agenda. No matter how much you think you're in control or you know what the heck is going on, life is going to do what life is going to do. And there you have it. So it's about, I think for me, when I I appreciate when I talk to people when they're open and vulnerable enough and courageous enough to share what's going on with them, especially like when I'm working with midlife women, when they're saying, right now my career is not working or my relationship is falling apart, and so then we then have a place to go to say, oh, let's walk through that. And because I do, I work with people from all around the globe. Sometimes all I have is social media or Skype or email or something. But at least once in a while we can connect either on Google Hangout or so that way we get to see each other and to see the body language and to see what's going on. And so I think it's part of, again, I said in the beginning about moderation. You know, what is the driving force that keeps you on social media? That's what we need to look at. Is it so that way I don't feel like I'm missing out? Is it that I want to, why am I so plugged in? And can I unplug? I remember I had a friend who said that she could not unplug. She couldn't, she always had to have the phone. And I said, why? So that would make it almost like an addiction, right? Being
Yeah.
addicted to that.
So let me comment on what you just shared about being online all the time. One of the things from that documentary that I saw, and I need to find that, I forgot where it is. It talked about like kids were um, afraid of connecting with people that were real beside them, like real people. They were afraid of being lonely, and more often than not, they were actually lonely because they didn't connect. They didn't know what to say to their friends that were like sitting around a table. Yet they're taking their phones and talking about all kinds of stuff. And the thing is that they're even talking, they're watching what other people are talking about on other phones, not even on their own. So it's like this wanting to fear of missing out, that, as you said, FOMO. We think that, what if I missed out on something? Well, if you missed out on something and you didn't know about it, how can you be afraid of missing out on something? You wouldn't know about it, right? We tend to want to know just about everything and anything about people that are that we think have a better life than we are. We do. And I see this with moms and stepmoms where I call them stalking one another, like social stalking. They're checking, well, what did they do? Where did they go? Oh, they went on vacation. Well, I thought they didn't have any money for vacation. How come they bought this? They said they. So all these kinds of things, and it's making you miserable. It's making you understand that there is a lot of pieces that are missing in that conversation or whatever you're seeing on social media that you're not getting. Maybe someone else gave a gift of clothes to the kids that you didn't know about. Maybe there was a huge sale and they took advantage of it. Maybe they haven't gone on vacation for a year and this is the only vacation and they're enjoying it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can't assume that what we see on social media, whether it's internet, TV, social media, that is 100% accurate and true all the time. We got to give some space for questioning. Well, and just maybe just say, hey, nice for you. I'm really happy you have this. I'm going to focus on my life and make it as nice as I can right now.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of the old what was the old saying, keeping up with the Joneses.
Yes.
We have done Yes, we have done it and we have taken it into the social internet world.
We've
You
taken
know,
it to a level of unrealistic expectations.
and I think we need to go back to being present in the moment, being, a lot of times you go to something and then you're filming it, and so the camera's in front of you, so you're not actually experience whatever you're filming because you're looking at
It's a
through a
very
lens, right? The video, and sometimes you need to just, oh, there's a nice moment. And yes, and we've all become, filmmakers, and we all become, so again, it's not bad or good. It's just asking yourself, is this supporting my life at this moment? What is underneath this need? to be on it all the time? And can I unplug?
Well, and and I just, as we said, part of what I didn't want to be a hypocrite, but by saying, like, this isn't a good thing. One of the things that social media has helped me in, you can use it as a tool to um, connect with other people. And as I shared with you before we were live, was that I use social media to be able to connect with my extended family. We're having for the first time, a family reunion on my mother's side. And my mom is the baby of 16 brothers and sisters. So you can imagine, like, how big and spread away they are. And half of them, I've never actually met them, known about them. I've not met their children. Um, but what social media has provided me with was the tool for me to connect. So I use it as a tool to reach out for people to connect. And so this coming weekend, we're having around 70 guests, cousins that I've never met, and some I've met, but like it's been a long time. And we use social media to organize an event. So, you know, people who are there and see you on social media, I'm going to meet them in person. So I don't want to have a disconnect between who I am really as my real person, and when I meet them over the weekend. So whenever you're having like these moments where you feel like you want to elaborate on some big thing or comment on things that are like outrageous, tell yourself, if I were to meet this person face to face, how do I want them to perceive me? Well, first of all, most of us like to be seen as good people and fun to be with and intelligent. So, and I'm not saying that you're not, but, portray what you want and who you are to other people without being, this obnoxious person that you probably wouldn't be if you weren't in front of this person.
And I think, and I want to just add to that before we wrap up. But one of the things is, I like what you said about it being a tool. And social media is a tool that I like to use to, again, connect with people that are a long distance away, friends, clients. So yes, I use it, but I also, like any tool, I don't use my hammer on everything. I don't use the screwdriver for everything. I have the right tool for the right job. And so that I appreciate you saying that, because that's what we need to realize. It's a tool. It's just one other piece of communication tool that we can use to augment our conversations with people. Um, it's when we use it in a way that's not supporting us or those around us in a healthy way. So like anything, find that balance, and take a break from it every once in a while. Um, uh, so that's what I wanted just to add with that. And like here's a good example. We're using social media to do these episodes, and so we give ourselves a time limit. We know how much we want to talk, and then we're going to wrap it up, and we put it out there. We're building. We got followers, we got people, we got newcomers coming in. So we're building this platform for conversations that matter most. But we're not on it 24/7.
No, we're not.
We go on with the rest of our day. So Claudette, as we wrap up, anything else you want to add before we close this episode?
No, and you brought some really good points. Understand that what you see on a screen, on your phone, on the internet, is not the complete reality. We only get little bits and pieces, and even if you sew them all together, there are still gaps. There's going to still be holes in there, and sometimes when we fill them up, they may not be the total reality. So whenever you're inclined to use social media to verbally express discontent, or to just show the good side. Think about it. If this person was in front of you, how do I want them to perceive me, and how do I want to be seen, like, a whole human being? Um, and so I'll let Sharona. I want to know, Sharona, how do people who are feeling disconnected with their lives, that are midlife, and women, how do they connect with you so that you can help them move forward to having a more holistic and thriving life?
Thanks, Claudette. I just wanted to write something down because so yeah, I just need to write something. Uh, so again, I do use social media. So if you're a midlife woman and you're feeling disconnected from your own life and from those around you, and you just want to have a faithful sidekick to help you navigate through so that you can thrive wholeheartedly in body, mind, and spirit, you can reach me at Sharona at midlifewomendancingwithchange.com, and my website, www.dancingwithchange, midlifewomendancingwithchange.com. You can also find me with hashtag midlifewomendancingwithchange, or emotional impact, because in midlife there is an emotional impact of when you're going through change and shifts and transformations and transition. So that's how you can find me, and I would love to hear from you. Even if you have some ideas of, or some suggestions for future episodes. Uh, so, Claudette, how can a stepmom who might be disconnected from her reality and just trying to figure out what my reality ought to be, how can they get in touch with you?
Thanks, Sharona. So if you're a stepmom and you're feeling disconnected, and that you're feeling like everybody else is having a better life than you are, and you're like really upset and struggling, you can find me at stepmomcoach.com. Use hashtag stepmomwisdom, or you can use the hashtag stepmomcoach. I have a lot of resources, so using those two hashtags, you'll be able to follow me on social media. And as we said, yes, I use social media. So I use social media to support, encourage you as a stepmom to move forward. It doesn't replace having a conversation one-on-one, but it's for those moments when you're looking and thinking, okay, my life is really is the pits and it's not going well. And so sometimes you just need to pick me up. And so this is where I use social media. And again, like Sharona said, we can have conversations via Skype, Google Hangouts, phone, in person. So if you're a stepmom and you're looking to move from being in a survival mode to a thriving mode, and you want to have a stronger and healthier step family, reach out to me and let's have a conversation. Again, stepmomcoach.com, hashtag stepmomcoach, or hashtag stepmomwisdom. So, Sharona, another wonderful, meaningful, insightful episode together. Yay!
Yay! Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
So, as a final wrap up, if you enjoyed these conversation, if you enjoyed specifically this conversation, Let us know. Comment below. Let us know what you thought. What are some of the things you're struggling with in your life, either as a midlife woman or as a stepmom? What are some of your concerns and issues you face? And we'd love to talk about it on our future shows. If you enjoyed this episode, please share and subscribe to our channel. So this way you'll always be informed of our upcoming episodes, so you know when to join us. Sharona?
And with and again, if you I would go in and peruse our channel. We have over 25 different episodes so far, and of course more will be added. So subscribing is a great idea, and because sometimes you're up at 3 a.m. in the morning for most of us, dealing with midlife shifts. And we might need words of encouragement at that time. So these are there, and take notes and then share it with others who might be who might benefit from it. So I want to thank you all today for being here. Thank you, Claudette, again for your awesomeness, and we'll see
Thank,
you next time.
thank you, Sharona. Always love doing our episodes with you. All right, everybody. See you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.